welcome to the lounge. Please do come in. We truly hope you enjoy your stay.
If you love to travel and want to stay in the loop with all the latest tips, reviews, and updates, be sure to hit that subscribe button and don't forget to like and share. We do appreciate the support. Welcome to the Blossom Lounge in Singapore's Changi Airport, Terminal 4. First off, we're going to cover some basic information about the lounge, like opening hours, location, conditions, and what this lounge has to offer. Now, we really packed a lot of information into this video, so for your convenience, we added chapter markers below so you could find exactly what you're looking for. We gained access to the Blossom Lounge with our Priority Pass card, and as of this moment, the Blossom Lounge is the only Priority Pass lounge in Changi Airport Terminal 4. And here is a list of the current prices to gain entry into the lounge, as well as some prices for a few extra services offered at the lounge. We'll touch base on those a little later in the video, and we'll add a link below in case you want to buy passes to the lounge or any of its services. And here's a list of some of the offerings at the lounge. It's a pretty standard list. As you can see, you might incur some charges for some of the services and items at the lounge. Well, kind of. We'll explain that more later in the video. Okay, now let's take a deeper dive into Changi Airport and SATS and Plaza Premium's Blossom Lounge. First, let's take a look at our flight for the day. This was going to be a short flight, just under 3 hours from Singapore to Bali on Air Asia. So we spent a few days in Singapore exploring all of its incredible sights, sounds, and attractions. This country is quite unique in so many different ways, and they've really taken tourism to a whole new level. Now, I truly believe there's a short list of countries that everyone should visit at least once in their lives, and Singapore definitely makes that list. Now let's look at getting to Changi Airport from the city center. You have a few options. The metro is a clean, reliable, and inexpensive way to get to Changi Airport, but for us, we used a different option. First off, we stayed at the Andes Singapore, which is one of our all-time favorite stays, with a beautiful rooftop pool and exquisite service. And we used GrabCar to get around Singapore, so we decided to use it to get to the airport. It's surprisingly inexpensive. It was about $15 to get to the airport, and I'm so glad we took the GrabCar. Our driver was awesome. He gave us some incredible insider tips that will really help us on our next trip to Singapore.
The law here is very strict. I've traveled a lot.
Now let's take a look at getting to the lounge. As we stated earlier, the lounge is located in Terminal 4 on the mezzanine level, and Terminal 4 is the only terminal in Changi Airport to be completely separate from the other terminals, but that's not an issue, as there is a free shuttle bus that connects it to all the other terminals. And for getting around the other terminals, you could just take the free SkyTrain or just walk. Now, each terminal is pretty similar, as they each have a public and transit side. So going from the public to the transit side, you will have to go through security. We'll talk about how that comes into play later in the video. Now let's zoom in to where the Blossom Lounge is located. Once arriving at the airport, you'll first walk through duty free, of course. And I like the fact that most of the gate signs have walk times, which is very convenient. And once you get inside the terminal, they'll have these handy directory maps to guide you on your way. To get to the lounge, first you're gonna have to make your way to the mezzanine level. You can see the lounge up here on the right. So just follow the lounge sign, up the escalators, swing a right, and you'll see the lounge directly in front of you. And fortunately, when we arrived, fairly early in the morning, there was no line or wait. And as we provided our credentials to the front desk staff, I wouldn't exactly say they were friendly, but they were helpful and nice. Now let's take a look inside the lounge. This lounge had a decent amount of space, and it was divided up fairly well. Here's the view after you walk inside. Now, it wasn't that crowded when we went, but it seemed like all the people were situated around the food areas, which I guess makes sense. But you did have a wide variety of seating options from which to choose, from long tables to booths to open seating, as well as these little cubbies, which I kinda liked. I mean, they were a little on the small side, but if you really needed to get some work done or just wanted some private time and didn't mind the smallish space, I think these seats would work out just fine for you. Now, across the way, there was this larger section of the lounge that was closed today. Now, I'm not sure if it was for maintenance reasons or just because it was early in the morning, but I made my way over to take a look. This was the bar section. It was a nice open space that hopefully will be open and we can check it out the next time we're at Changi Airport. Now, they had this very unique musical design feature at the lounge, which had these cylindrical tubes suspended from this metal bar. It was kind of like giant chimes. So if you swung one of these tubes into another one, it would make like this bellowing gong sound, which is pretty cool. Unless someone tried it a little too much, then it could get a little annoying. But our favorite spot of the lounge had to be this balcony overlooking the terminal, and surprisingly, it was empty. So this is where we sat back and relaxed, enjoyed some food and drinks before our flight, as well as a great viewing spot for the show. We'll talk more about that later in the video. Now let's take a look at the food and drink in the lounge. Now, if you're looking for a gourmet meal, you might be a little disappointed. But if you set your expectations of just grabbing a bite to eat and something to drink before your flight, I think you'll be just fine. So we were here during the breakfast serving. Now, I wouldn't say they had a large variety of food, but let's take a look. They had a selection of breads and cereals, some French toast and muffins to choose from, as well as some cheese and crackers and green apples, which are my favorite, in case you really wanted to know. And on the healthier side, they did have a salad bar with a variety of dressings and some yogurts to choose from as well. They also had a few hot options for breakfast today. Let's take a look. Now, some of the hot food might not look so appealing. Well, I did try the noodle dish, and I'd say it was okay. Now let's take a quick look-see at the hash browns and eggs and see how appealing they look. And if you wanted to wait around until 11 o'clock, they were offering red bean. We ended up settling back and relaxing with a soup and a beer. I believe that's a well-rounded breakfast. Now for dessert. There was one item I knew they had at this lounge and I was looking forward to, the Udders ice cream, until I saw this sign. Long story short, they did not come right back. So no ice cream for me. Let's move on to take a look at the beverages at this lounge. Now the information about this lounge states that you have to pay for the liquor. Now I believe the beer and wine are always free, but the liquor was free today as well. Well, they only had 3 bottles. That's probably because the bar area was closed. You also had some club soda, as well as a coffee station where they had coffee and tea, some juice and infused water, as well as your typical soda fountain with 6 different options. But we ended up settling on this slightly sweet Vietnamese lager. Now remember, we mentioned about the bar earlier. It was closed during our time at the lounge, but it was a nice open space overlooking the terminal with a large bar in the center and a variety of seating options to choose from. It seemed like a great spot to grab a drink and relax before your flight. Now let's take a little look at the bathrooms in the lounge. I did like the little signage leading you into the bathroom. Now I've heard that these bathrooms might not be the cleanest or the most modern, but let's take a look for ourselves. Okay, these bathrooms might not be the most modern of lounge bathrooms I've been to, but first off, they were fairly clean, they were functioning, and they were fully stocked. Now, you could ask for more from a lounge bathroom, maybe a little more modern, a few more amenities, but since it was clean and fully stocked, I think it serves its intended purpose just fine. Now let's take a look at the charging, internet, and Wi-Fi at the lounge. Now, some people had mentioned that a few of the charging ports they tried at the lounge didn't function so well, but fortunately the ones that we used were working just fine. If you've had a different experience, please let us know in the comments. Now, there weren't charging ports at every chair station, but if you really needed one, there was one within reach. And of course, we had to test the Wi-Fi at the lounge, not once, but twice. And I think the upload and download speeds were fine for basic tasks, but then again, that's all we needed it for. Now, they did have some added services at the lounge, so let's take a look at some of the extra services offered at the Blossom Lounge. And here's a price list of some of the services offered at the lounge, like massage facilities and napping facilities, which is inclusive of a shower and massage chair. You can also book a 20-minute shower, which also includes one free drink, which is a nice added bonus. As we entered the hall where the showers were, we did see this maintenance sign. Now, I'm not sure which showers were under maintenance. Well, this one obviously was, but it looked like shower 2 was operational and I believe occupied. And in case you can't read the small writing at the bottom, it explains you have to go to the reception area to book your shower. They also had a baby changing and fully accessible room. And as far as some other extras at the lounge, they went old school with a magazine rack. And of course, you had the standard departure board. Now, if you have a long layover or you arrive extra early for your flight, you should definitely try and explore Changi Airport. First, let's talk about getting around. We've already spoken about the free shuttle bus that takes you from Terminal 4 to the other terminals. And once at the other terminals, you could easily navigate your way around using the free SkyTrain or just walking. Now, depending how early you arrive to the airport or how long your layover is, you might want to explore other terminals as well. And here's the issue. Some of the attractions you might want to see are on the public side, like the Jewel. So if you're arriving at the airport, my advice is first go to all the attractions you want to see on the public side, then go to the transit side and see those attractions. That way you'll only pass through security once. But remember, if you're here for a long layover, you'll arrive on the transit side. And if you want to go to the Jewel or any other attractions on the public side, you'll have to go through immigration. But if you do have time, there's definitely one site worth seeing on the public side, the Jewel and the world's largest indoor waterfall. It's really cool. And on the transit side, in Terminal 3, check out a free movie. And there's a wide variety of exhibits and gardens to explore, like the Butterfly Garden and the Sunflower Garden, just to name a few. Now, say you're in Terminal 4 and you just don't have the time or you don't feel comfortable leaving the terminal. That's okay. There are plenty of sites and attractions to see within Terminal 4. One site you can see directly from the balcony of the lounge are these brightly colored Peranakan shop houses, which look very similar to the houses we saw while visiting Chinatown in Singapore, and that's not a coincidence. So if you sit out on the balcony in the Blossom Lounge and look closely at the center of the Peranakan shop houses, you'll witness a show called The Peranakan Love Story. This is a 6-minute theatrical performance. The story is set in 1930s Singapore and tells the story of a blossoming romance between two passionate musicians who happen to live next to each other. And fortunately, it turns out to be a happy ending. And if you're looking for a little more action in your layover, you can check out the Chandelier Slide, which is conveniently located right next to the lounge. Lily gave it a go. One safety note on the slide: either lift up your feet or take off your shoes. Next up, it was my turn on T4's Chandelier, which was conveniently located right next to the slide. Now, I'm not sure if this is just for kids, but I thought I'd give it a go. Challenge accepted. And conquered. Now, there's so much more to explore and discover at Changi Airport, from countless exhibits and activities to fine dining and some pretty good shopping. And we have a video review out of Changi Airport where we travel around the terminals and try to experience as much as possible at this airport for free. If you're interested, check that out. We really did have an incredible time at Changi Airport, but now it's time to head to the gate and catch our AirAsia flight to Bali, where a whole new adventure awaits. Now some final thoughts on the Blossom Lounge, Changi Airport, Terminal 4. I think if you set your expectations at just getting a small bite to eat, something to drink, and to relax before your flight, I believe your expectations will be met. Now there are better lounges at this airport. We have a review coming out of one such lounge, Singapore's own Silver Chris Lounge. Well, I hope this helps you the next time you visit Changi Airport, Singapore. Safe travels. If you love to travel and want to stay in the loop with all the latest tips, reviews, and updates, be sure to hit that subscribe button and don't forget to like and share. We do appreciate the support.